Welcome back to another episode of Inside the MAC. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. The bowl projections just came out. After week 5, they do an update of bowl projections, and, well, a little disheartening if you're a MAC fan. Taking a look at these, the only teams they have in here, both analysts have Toledo and Ohio. Both analysts have Central Michigan. Both analysts have Bowling Green. And then one has Buffalo and Western in a game. The other one has neither. So that was a bit interesting to me. And here's the issue with it is looking at the standings. The MAC just struggled in non-conference play. That's just the easy way around it. I mean, Central and Ohio are the only teams with 3 wins. Toledo as well. Excuse me. So you got 3 teams that are 3 away from bowl eligibility. So it'll be interesting. I think Miami of Ohio can get there. I think Northern Illinois can get there. I think Western will get there. I think Buffalo gets there, and maybe the rest don't. But boy, the lack of respect. It's tough when and here's where the MAC's not helping themselves. Is I get the paydays and things like that. Looking at Kent State, who's playing all these big schools, and you're getting millions of dollars to do so. Hats off to you. That's great, but you're also killing your postseason chances, which then in turn kills your recruiting chances. All these teams do need to schedule like a big game like that because you do need to get that money in, but constantly scheduling only those games for non-conference, boy, that's just a risky play. Even if you just do, one FCS and then 3 of those payday schools, you're not looking at the best of standings. And, that's just the name of the game. If you can't hear in my voice, still battling this illness. Took a nice turn yesterday for the worse. But we're back. We're live. We're local. Nuggets here hanging out with us again. I want to talk about some other things injury update-wise. We were taking a look at some of the injuries around the MAC. There's some big quarterbacks out. Central Michigan is taking on Akron at Akron. Still no update on Ben Finley. Don't know if that means they're going to go back to the 2-quarterback system or if Finley's going to be playing. It's hard to find information on some of the MAC stuff injury-wise. They're just very non-disclosed. Buffalo is hosting Eastern Michigan. It looks like Taquan Robertson is back. Did actually see an update on that said he is probable to return. And then Miami of Ohio, I think Taquan Finn is back. They said after the game against UNLV that it wasn't something serious, and obviously as they were playing Lindenwood, a game they expected to win handily, which they did. Maybe it's a day you just let him rest extra week to get extra healthy because they got a huge one against Northern Illinois. Quick rundown this week's matchups and the spreads. Ohio's traveling to Ball State. Ohio is a 14.5-point favorite. UMass hosts Western. Western opens up as a 12.5-point favorite. Central Michigan is headed to Akron, as we just talked about. Central Michigan opens as an 8.5-point favorite. Eastern Michigan travels to Buffalo, where Buffalo is a 9.5-point favorite. Northern Illinois hosting Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio is a 5.5-point favorite. And Kent State travels to Oklahoma, where they are a 45.5-point underdog. That's the only non-conference game of the week, as we're really starting to get fully into the MACtion slate, which, boy, it's a fun time of year because anything can happen. As we saw Western beating Toledo, anything can happen. I think the biggest games to me this week, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, and then that Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois. That's our game of the week. We'll have more coverage on that later. There's just a lot of show-me games. I think for Ball State, it's an opportunity to show the MAC, like, hey, we're not just a laughing stock this year. We could do things. And it's going to be a tough game, but they're hosting. And, home field advantage, even when you're not selling out crowds, can always do something good. I think same with UMass. I don't think that game's going to go well. I think Western might run away with it. Akron, if they got Finley back or if they don't, obviously they can't make the postseason, so they're just playing for product at this point. But that's a dangerous team when they have nothing to lose. Eastern Michigan, Buffalo. Eastern's got to bounce back from that Central loss. Buffalo's got to bounce back from losing several games close. Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois. Boy, that is going to be a ball game. That's why it's our game of the week. And then Kent State. I mean, you're just trying to cover the spread, I guess. that Oklahoma team is legitimate. So we'll talk more later in this week. Short one today is still not feeling the greatest, so I don't have a ton of energy right now. But lots more stuff coming out this week. That's all for me today here on Inside the MAC.